No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You've got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Happy Taco Bell Tuesday. Welcome on into Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains. We got the great sports director at KTVB, Jay Tust, joining us for his Tuesday appearance here. Jay, it's another beautiful day outside. It's May. We're kicking off a new series today. How we doing?
I'm pretty good, man. Yeah, you're right. Beautiful day. I thought we were going to make the turn with the weather or hit the corner this Friday. It's supposed to be like 91, but then by Tuesday we're back down to 59. So we're not quite through spring, but we're getting there. One of the best times of year in Boise, Idaho, though.
I'll be visiting your home state of Washington this weekend. Naismith's got a baseball tournament up in the Tri-Cities area, so we'll be heading over Friday after the show to the Tri-Cities area for a little baseball tournament. So hoping for some good weather over there as well. But the first travel tournament for
okay,
pretty excited about that.
That's pretty awesome, man. I feel like he's still a little like
I saw one of the teams in the tournament here, the Yakima Dirt Dogs. So I don't know if that's Leon
the mighty Dirt Dogs.
But yeah, where'd you go? There he is.
I just had to sneeze really quick. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah. No,
yeah,
those were like the best days, dude. Like travel ball at that age, like when you're just a kid, like that. Those were awesome days. And I'm not saying he's too young to do it, but he's a little younger than I was when I started doing that, and we traveled pretty aggressively there for quite a few years. But he's gonna have an awesome time. And shout out to Naismith, by the way, for what he did at the plate the other day. I don't know if you bragged about that yet, but little dude was crushing.
The wind was blowing out. I'll say that. And the fence,
whatever.
It was he missed his first home run by about a foot. That was I had the angle at the third base coach's box. He hit it to right center, and I was like, oh my gosh, that might go out. And then just missed, but he'll get.
Yeah, it was awkward when you took your shirt off and started whipping it around in the air as the ball was still in the air, bud.
Yeah,
and then you had to put it back on when it caromed off the top of the wall.
The batter usually thinks it's out and gets thrown out at second. Yeah, it was my turn. Yeah, no. No, he'll get one. But it's crazy what confidence does. He comes up again the next at bat and ropes the double into the gap. Like it's crazy for 10-year-olds. But yeah, we're in the knee deep in kids baseball going on at the Raines household. I know you're catching up on some family time too, with this dying down a little bit here with all kinds of things. So yeah, it's going to be a fun next couple of months as we recharge, Jay, for the 2025 season. And excited today. In full transparency, me and Mike Prater came on yesterday with literally nothing to talk about and somehow killed 45 minutes talking golf and Pac-12 TV deal and something else. And I said, you know what? I think our 25-player series probably needs to start like next Monday or something. And I went to Mountain West Media Days and worked the calendar back 10 weeks. And I was like, oh, crap, that should have started today. So we are going to be a day behind. We'll catch up later this week on that. But we are going to kick off. We've done this here at BNN for the last couple of years. I did it previously when I was at the Idaho Press, just some fun summer content to talk about, some individual players and, the guys further down the list, Jay, that maybe don't get much talk at all, and so I'm going to devote the portion of each show here for the next 5 weeks to our countdown. We'll still discuss other, scheduling announcements and news and transfers and all kinds of stuff that comes out. It won't just be that, but for portion of the show, at least for the next 5 weeks, we're going to talk the 25 most important players to the Boise State football team in 2025. Nathan Carroll, who does an outstanding job, will have an accompanying article for each player up at BroncoNationNews.com. His article on number 25 is already up. You can go read it at BroncoNationNews.com. And Jay, kicking off our series with a little international flavor. Max Stege is number 25, the first player on our list, defensive end, Max Stege. And we had some, this was a debate. We had some guys that didn't make the list and maybe folks are surprised, whatever, when they find out. But Max Stege, an intriguing guy, and the first player we're going to talk about here for the next 5 weeks on our series.
Yeah, he's such an interesting prospect, and Boise State hit on an international kid, recently with Ahmed Hassanin landing in the NFL. And I'd even say that this is a little bit different because at least Ahmed was recruited out of the high school ranks here in America, but they had to go overseas to land Max Stege. And BJ, every time we hear about this kid, the coaches rave about him. He might be a little raw and he's still learning and things like that, but the coaches really appear to like him, and they love his work ethic and his demeanor. And I think now that he's been on campus for 2 years, one he redshirted, then he was a redshirt freshman last year where he did see action in all 14 games. I think that, he has a chance to make a jump this year and really help and really contribute.
Yeah. And okay, so I think I said it, but number 25, first player officially, number 25 most important players of the Boise State football team in 2025 is defensive lineman Max Stege, 6'4", 264, coming out of Germany. And it is crazy to believe this is already his third year, Jay. And I guess I knew it, but just kind of forgot it. Looking at his bio, he did not redshirt. He played in 10 games right away as a true freshman, coming over from Germany in 2023. Got him there against the game at Washington right off the bat. Had 2 tackles against Utah State, half sack in that game, was academic All Mountain West there in 2023. Originally came in as a 3-star prospect from 247 Sports, was the number 1 prospect in Germany in terms of coming over for American football, was the captain on Germany's U19 national team. And another just kind of random fact, his stepfather was a 7-time national boxing champion in Germany as well. So got some family ties and some athletic background, so to speak there. But as you said, last year came in and got in all 14 games and did some things. And you mentioned hitting on the international flavor with Ahmed Hassanin. Well, I mean, he's maybe in line to be the starter in replace for Ahmed Hassanin. So that's kind of a unique story too, that you go from the international flavor there to his replacement also being international. And I'll tell you what, man, Nathan Carroll dives into these numbers for Pro Football Focus. I know that you do as well, Jay, and really study this stuff, but you want a couple encouraging numbers here. Now, albeit in a very limited sample size, I get it compared to Ahmed, but do you want a couple, I don't want to give away the whole story here, but you got to go read it and subscribe, but do you want a couple encouraging numbers here, Jay Tust?
Yeah. I think I know where you're going with this, but yeah.
All right. So pressure rate.
Yeah.
Okay. Win rate. These are just random, high analytic numbers that maybe be confusing to some people, but 75.8 grade on true passing sets. So no play action or screens, just drop back pass, 75.8 grade. It's the highest grade from any returning player on the defensive team, regardless of position for Boise State on the defense. Now, in those situations, believe it or not, again, much smaller sample size, some of his numbers actually grade out better than Ahmed Hassanin's did. In pressure rate, he was 14.1%. Ahmed Hassanin, 13.8%. Win rate, which is how often you're beating your blocker, he was 28.2%. Ahmed Hassanin was 25%. So, again, much smaller sample size. I'm sure Ahmed was getting more double teams and things like that, and just the defenses did it a little differently. But in a small sample size, much smaller, in the analytics, the chances that he actually performed at a higher rate than Ahmed Hassanin did, just so slightly. And so, again, you can pull numbers however you want. And again, his sample size is much smaller. But there are some encouraging signs in the limited reps that he got that he's ready for a bigger role this year.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a guy that was a backup and didn't get a ton of reps because Ahmed Hassanin was really tough to take off the field. He had incredible endurance and he was incredibly productive. And so, they rode Ahmed a lot last year. And, the same with Jaden Virgin Morgan off the other edge position. So the fact that, you look at Max Stege, and by the way, I said earlier that you corrected me, man. You're right. He did not redshirt. He played immediately when he got on campus. I almost made that assumption because he did jump so much last year, playing in all 14 games, and was what a rotational guy. There were some games where he played 24 to 30 snaps, and there are other games where he was in single digit snap usage wise. But, he had 3 sacks. You're right on like the win rate, the pressure rate. I think just like overall, not even including like true passing sets or anything like that. But, his win rate was darn near what Ahmed's was. And yes, a much smaller sample size, but I mean, I still think that you have to look at something in some way, shape, or form and try to project the future. So, I think that when you combined some of these stats along with what you hear about this kid, and you're just excited about the trajectory he's on and where he can go with this thing.
Yeah. And like we said, cool story too, man. I mean, I haven't talked to him a ton. I don't know how much you have. I'm trying to think. I mean, I said hello to him and stuff, but I'm trying to, I think he was available one day for interviews, and I was either at the Crown or something else. I don't think I've had much of a chance to talk to him, but I'm very interested in hearing his story, and he's certainly going to want to be those guys kind of early in fall camp too, that we're trying to get. And I think that, that we love telling good stories and things in this business. And Jay, I'm sure he's going to be, probably a fan favorite, one of those guys that people can latch on to his story again this year if he takes that jump in production.
Yeah, I think that he's immediately in line to be something like that. And you go back and even I think that by far his best game last year was probably the Hawaii game. He generated 4 pressures or 4 hurries in that game. I don't even know if he had a sack in that game, and he did have a sack in at least 3 other games. But I just thought that was a game where it took everything from Boise State on the defensive side of the ball to go out to the island and sneak out what ended up being just a defensive slugfest with the Rainbow Warriors. And so that was a game that, he played some of his best ball. Prior to that, he played 30 snaps against Utah State, which that had a little bit more of a different dynamic to it, right, BJ? Because Boise State got up so big in that game, and it probably allowed Boise State to kind of rest some of their, their primary guys or starters, or maybe just put young guys in a situation that they might not have been in had the game been a little closer. So, I just think that everything you hear about this kid, you combined it with some of the past, and as he projected this thing forward, I really do. I think that Max is with tempered expectations, and I'm not saying he's going to be an all-league player here immediately. I just think that he could be a very valuable piece to this defense this coming season.
Now, according to the numbers, one area he has to get better in is against the run. He was not very good against the run in his limited opportunities. 80, Ahmed Hassanin was an 80.3 run defense grade per Pro Football Focus. Max Stege, just 56.4, which according to Nathan Carroll's article is considered below replacement level. Mm-hmm. Against the run, he struggled with tackling. He missed 22% of his tackles on run plays, according to the data by Pro Football Focus. So if he's going to be out there kind of starting and getting a bigger role, Jay, one area he does need to take that step forward is against the run.
Yeah, I mean, obviously won't disagree with that. I it's so funny because I love numbers, man. You know that, right? And you always kind of wonder, okay, well, is he at the end of the game when they're doing a lot of passes? Maybe that's when they mix in a couple of draws, and you're not. I don't know. There might be more to it, but I also think that it shows off how incredibly versatile, Ahmed Hassanin was, and how high the standard is that you have to hit if you are truly going to replace him with one human here in Max Stege, which I don't think is going to be the case. I think that they're going to have to find some more answers because those man. There were some guys on defense last year that played a lot of snaps. And I think there are certain games where that was particularly the case when they might have been a little banged up. And whether it be, Ahmed at San Jose State or something like that, where there are guys that had a lot of run in specific games. And, you see Boise State trying to hit the transfer portal a couple of times here to maybe address some of that depth on the edge and things like that.
Yep.
I think that only helps. You're going to have to keep guys fresher, I think, this year because Ahmed was just a unique dude.
And I do want to, take a quick pause here and thank some of our sponsors, Jay. But Boise State did just officially announce a new edge/defensive line transfer that's been committed for a couple days, and we can add that to this discussion here in terms of who else behind Max Stege needs to step up this year. And we'll do that in just a second. But first, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, rowpaint.com. All your painting needs, make sure you hit up our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, all your painting needs, rowpaint.com. Taco Bell, you looking for a quick, delicious meal, cheap meal for the family? Visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location. The SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, they've committed more than $400,000 in student-athlete scholarships to the men's and women's basketball programs at Boise State. Return the favor. Taco Bell. Visit a local Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today, and they are hiring, so you get more information online, TacoBellWorks.com. Hey, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. You can check them out online at thespateam.com, whether it's a sauna, whether it's a pool table for the game room, or that spa, they got you covered. Again, thespateam.com. Hey, the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. All your Boise State gear, whether it's football, basketball, you name it. They still got some great deals on some college football playoff gear as well. Coaches sideline apparel, the biggest hat selection in town, and that clearance rack there in the front of the store. You're not going to find better value there. So just go in person, Boise Town Square Mall there, second floor next to Pro Image, or you can check them out online and order from anywhere in the world at the Blue and Orange Store.com. Hey, our friends at Jackson's, I was just talking to them, Jay. They're going to be providing some snacks for the golf tournament here in a couple of weeks. So we appreciate Jackson's and their crew for stepping up and helping us out at the golf tournament. 2 hot dogs and a kettle chips for $5 as part of that $5 meal deal. They also have the 99-cent coffee, day or night, 99-cent coffee from our friends there at Jackson's, and Lithia Ford of Boise as well. LithiaFordBoise.com. You looking for a new vehicle? LithiaFordBoise.com can help you out. And Jay, you might as well schedule the Uber now for Camille to come out and pick up your vehicle after you get maybe you can just let her drive the new one back home. A hole-in-one gets you a new vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise at the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament on May 30th. That is 3 weeks from Friday. We'll be telling you more about that here shortly, but 3 weeks from Friday, and Lithia Ford of Boise for the 4th year in a row sponsoring our hole-in-one challenge on hole 6. You get a hole-in-one, you head home with a new car from Lithia Ford of Boise, and we appreciate Jim Sturk and company for their support of Bronco Nation News. Check them out online, view their full inventory of vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. All right, Jay, Boise State has officially announced the addition of Sterling Lane, the linebacker from Arizona. Me and Mike Prater touched on him yesterday. Linebacker, outside linebacker, edge, however you kind of want to refer to him. But we're talking right now about, Max Stege and trying to get pressure on the quarterback and these outside pass rushers. And obviously, we're going to have Jaden Virgin Morgan appear much later in this series of the 25 most important players, but we don't have any other edges. We actually thought about Sterling Lane, in this kind of spot, but we don't have any other outside, whatever you want to call them, edge, defensive ends, other than Jaden Virgin Morgan on our list. So what do you make of Lane, and who else is going to get some time, you think, at that outside? We was supposed to be Jake Ripp. Then he went back to linebacker, it sounds like. I'm sure he'll rust the passer some in some situations, but where else is the pressure on the quarterback from the outside coming from this year?
I'm excited about this Lane guy for sure, man. I mean, you're getting a Power 5 talent that's coming out of the transfer portal that has experience playing in the Big 12 and heck, the Pac-12 for that matter too, his freshman season. I think that, he shows some promise. I don't think a lot of his, PFF numbers pop that like a ton at that point when you look at pressure weight and rate and win rate and all that stuff. If you really want to break it down, you can find some optimism for sure. But, he's a guy that played in almost every game, if not every game for Arizona last season. His playing time ebbed and flowed a little bit right in the middle of the season where, you look towards that month of November, he didn't get a ton of run. And in the final 2 games, he found himself back on the field quite a bit. But now this is a chance for him to come to a program that has been able to develop some edge rushers and whatnot in the past and maybe be able to tap into something he wasn't able to tap into in Tucson.
And I don't say this, whatever. Like I honestly legitimately wonder, Jay, and maybe there's an obvious one that I'm just forgetting, which is probably the case, but I can't remember a time they've brought in a Power 5 guy that has 26 tackles or a guy with actual, Cam Camper on the offensive side had some catches, at receiver and things like that. But in terms of a defensive guy, and there's probably a really obvious one that I'm forgetting because you're shaking your head, but I can't remember. Again, 26 tackles is not, that's, 1.5 a game where it's not something to go crazy about. But in terms of usually the Power 5 guys they get are guys that didn't play at all and wanted a better opportunity, whatever, which could be the case for him. But 26 tackles, I don't care if that's all on special teams or where that's coming from. That's, like you said, that is certainly experience that you'll take on this roster.
Yeah, it's almost always like the FCS guys or even lower level group of 5 guys, like a Tavion Woodard last year had tremendous production at Ball State. Didn't do a ton for the Broncos, but you look to his production at Ball State and said, okay, this guy might be able to add some experience to that room. I think you go back to like a Tony Lashley or something transferring from Idaho, right? It's kind of that was right, but it's more kind of those guys that Boise State is looking to maybe elevate and take to the next level. In this case, they do get an edge that 6'3", 240 or whatever he checks in at. I don't know what actually Boise State lists him as now, but something in that ballpark where that excites you to start to work with that. And you look at his numbers, he held up okay against the run. He wasn't only a passer. He definitely does mirror more of what Jaden Virgin Morgan meant to this defense because he drops into coverage and stuff like that a little bit. I don't know if that's Boise State's plan for him, but if you look at how they used him at Arizona, it would mirror that role more so than like an Ahmed role where you're putting your head down and rushing the passer 98% of the time.
I gotta admit, man, I just looked at the bio Boise State sent out of him. He is my new favorite player on the team. He has been moved to number 1 on this list.
Oh, goodness gracious. He likes the Jayhawks or something or what?
Nope. He hails from the greatest hometown in the history of cities in this United States right here.
Wow, you're really gonna put that cap on right now?
Just block out this part right here and we'll just call it just call it I did not realize though, but the bio says a native of it actually says greatest city in the United States right there in the bio on Boise State's website, St. Louis, Missouri. It's surprising, but that is actually now I have another reason to that's pretty cool. He actually was from California. I guess he's a native of St. Louis, so moved to California at some point. So maybe he's not as high on my list now. But I also didn't realize he had a 70-yard touchdown on a fumble recovery in a game last season. So he's scored a touchdown, has made a play, got to the end zone. I'll have to find a highlight of that one. They list him at 25 tackles. I thought it was 26, but did have 4 quarterback hurries as well and had a tackle for loss. As you said, had some games in 2022 as well. So, hey, that's a big deal, man. Like I said, I can't remember. I'm even thinking offensively. You had like a Montel Cozart who had started games at Kansas. You had, I mentioned Cam Camper. Chris Marshall came from a Power 5 school, but hadn't. What do you have? 3 catches? I don't think he had 20. I can't think of too many. We talk about it on the basketball side with like a Dylan Andrews. Like when is Boise State basketball brought in a Power 5 starting point guard that's or a Drew Felder? Like I can't remember it happening too many times. I mean, from a production standpoint, this is one of the bigger gets they've gotten on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, different position, but Jeremiah Irby had some production at a Cal, for example, right?
Yep.
Different position.
Started a couple games. Now he's on the defensive side. Yeah, had a couple starts, had a couple interceptions, right?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm writing that down. Yeah, Irby, that's a good one. But it's not a very long list.
Nope.
Of proven guys that have come in with, 20 plus tackles in a game. But okay, so we mentioned him, but who else? Who else further down the depth chart are we thinking could come into this edge, defensive end, however they want to phrase it on the outside? I mean, in terms of, I mentioned Jake Ripp was supposed to be a guy they really liked there, but now he's moved back to linebacker. Where do you see any other guy? I mean, they're going to have to play a couple more guys there at that spot. Who else are you looking at?
Well, I think that you look at the way that Eric Chenander set things up last year, and you can narrow the focus and say, the defensive line has to generate those pressures. But I mean, I think when you look at the depth and the talent they're bringing back in the secondary, and even some of the talent they've added that you expect to contribute immediately, I don't see why they wouldn't continue to pressure, in other non-traditional ways just by using your front four, right? I think they're going to continue to do that coming up this season, and it was really effective for them last season. And I think that also I think that brings like a whole mentality to your defense and generates excitement even on the back end of that, where if you're rushing every now and then, that's just fun, man. Like that's any defensive player is going to like that. But man, I think that Jake Ripp is. I mean, I'm excited to see what he does this year, and I think that now he's going to finally settle down, find a home. I'm excited for him. I know it's not the outside on the edge positions, but I think you look at Braxton Feely. I think that he has a chance to, now that he's back. I think he has a chance to really do some things this year. And so, if there's a guy that's going to go out and get double-digit sacks, that's Jaden Virgin Morgan. But I still think that there's a chance you get back into the range where you got 5 guys with 5+.
Yeah. Well, we've got Irby, we've got Banks, we've got McCoy, or Washington. All these guys on the list here coming up later on in the series. But I mean, this team, as you said, this team defense literally led the nation in sacks last year.
Yep.
And typically you get your most sacks from your edge guys rushing the passer. So yeah, Boise State does it differently. They're going to have a lot of guys with different sacks, but certainly it all starts with getting some pressure on the quarterback, and they're going to need Max Stege and some of these guys to really take a step forward this year.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I just am excited to see how they use the rest of those guys. I think that, even like a Ty Benefield, man, I just think he is so tremendously talented. I can't wait to see how they deploy him on defense this year.
3 tackles, by the way, including a half a sack in the Fiesta Bowl for Max Stege. So on the biggest stage to wrap up the season against Penn State, 3 tackles and did have a half a sack as well. So Max Stege. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you remember, that's Ahmed was kind of dealing with some stuff in that game, man. He was trying to stay in that, but had an ankle issue or something, and so Max did get some run in that game. You're exactly right, dude.
So Max Stege, number 25 on our list of the most important players for the Boise State football team in 2025. We will get to number 24 tomorrow. And again, you can go read the accompanying article with more of the Pro Football Focus numbers and some of the nitty gritty and stuff on Max Stege right now at BroncoNationNews.com. We got a couple questions in the chat, Jay. We'll get to those here in a second. And if anybody has a Boise State question, topic, whatever you got, we got about 10, 15 minutes left here. We can get to your question, your thoughts, whatever you got, Boise State related, football. Maybe we'll get back to basketball, whatever you got. I know there's some other sports going on, the conference tournament for softball. The bracket is out for that, Jay. So we got some other topics we can get to in the final segment here. But if anybody's ever wanted to ask Jay Tust a question, Mike Prater was an open book yesterday. I think today Jay has said everything's on the table here for Jay. So if you got a question,
for sure,
you got
that game sounds way more fun with Prater than it does with me, but I'll do my best.
So we'll do that here in just a second. But do want to thank Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. And I found that out firsthand. We used Matt to buy and sell our home, did a tremendous job, helped us out every step of the way, got us the best deal, the best value. And if you want the same Check him out online, Matt Bauscher, BauscherRealEstate.com. And he's part of the Boise State home team now, so he's backing it up financially as well. And again, I highly recommend Matt and his team, BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com is their website. 13 locations in the state of Idaho, surrounding states. Just have that hometown kind of, family grocery store feel when you walk into a Ridley's, and great deals, great specials. Download that Skip app, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. And you can get more information online. Find a location near you, like that Kuna location, that McCall location, ShopRidleys.com. Hey, Transportation Compliance Service. If you're looking for a job, they can help you out every step of the way, whether it's DOT, overweight, all the permits, paperwork. Over 75% of people that try to do it themselves end up going out of business. So you want a new career, you want a lucrative career, get into the trucking business and let Transportation Compliance Service help you out. They're a local company helping out folks all over the United States. Online, transcomservice.com. Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. My kid had a Lean Feast breakfast this morning. Leanfeastmeridian.com is their website. Check them out right there, ironically, next to a Five Guys, Eagle Road and U-Stick and Meridian. And they all kinds of fresh, healthy meal options, the best meal prep service out there. But it doesn't feel like, some sort of meal prep service when you're eating it. You're eating steak, shrimp, chicken, fish, you name it. 2 minutes in the microwave, all it takes. And it's good in your refrigerator for 5 days. You can order on a Sunday or Monday and have meals for the whole week. And highly recommended if you're someone that works in an office and doesn't want to have to deal with bringing a lunch every day. They feed the football team. They feed the basketball team. They can feed you as well. LeanFeastMeridian.com. Hey, speakpipe.com/BNN, speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on an upcoming show. It's brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. MySignatureRoofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof or repair, an estimate, and inspection, hit them up at MySignatureRoofing.com. And Jay, I got a chance to sneak out last Friday. I don't even think I told you this, but after the show last Friday, I snuck out to Timberstone and got a small round in last Friday. Of course, I was telling my wife that I was quote working on getting stuff ready for the golf course for the tournament there. But it was a work trip out there. Obviously, I had to discuss the logistics of the tournament and make sure the course was in good shape there. And but first round of the year, shot a 99, broke 100 by making a putt on the 18th hole, and people watching probably thought I was trying to break par or something, and with the celebration there on 18. But 99, kept it in double digits. But play Timberstone.com, book your tee time today. I owe Jay around, so I got to get Jay out there here pretty soon to Timberstone. We'll maybe get that happen before the tournament here. But playtimberstone.com is their website. Book your tee time today, and they got the great daily deals and things going on. Beautiful course. It's in tremendous shape. They've added they now have the food truck out there, which is delicious. They have the paved parking lot. They keep making all kinds of improvements and additions there, and it's the best course in the valley, worth every second of the drive. Hit them up out there at Timberstone Golf Course. Yeah, Jay, we got to get you out before the tournament here in a couple weeks.
I need to get out, man. I would love to. I don't want to go out there. I don't want to go out there super rusty and look as bad as I probably would look even if I had played a couple rounds.
I got a complimentary round coupon here for you. So
there it is. Let's go.
And if anybody else, maybe we can raffle off a chance for two viewers of the show to play with Jay and I. How about that? That'd be fun.
Man, we're gonna end up. We would end up losing money on that, bud. We'd have to pay people.
Talking about it, I'll throw in a quick plug. 3 weeks from Thursday, you can come hang out with Jay and I and Brad Bedell, Kent Riddle, Johnny Prater, the whole BNN team. I think Nathan Carroll will be out there. And then some coaches. Dirk Cutter is going to be there, Leon Rice. I think Mike Burns, Tim Duryea, David Moats, Lexus Williams, all kinds of coaches. We're still trying to confirm Spencer Danielson, but that is a recruiting weekend for them, so he just can't give me 100% yes yet. But as a backup, we do have Dirk Cutter set. And so if you want to help raise some money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission, have a good fun time. Western Collective Brewery. It's at 6 o'clock right there in Garden City. I made it close to KTVB for you, Jay, on purpose in case you got to get back. You have the news that night. But Western Collective Brewery right there in Garden City off the connector, 6 o'clock on Thursday, May 29th. You do not have to be in the golf tournament. You can just come hang out, and it's $35, and that gets you your beer and your seltzer, and you get to hang out and mingle and have a good time and hear a Q&A from some of the celebrities and things. So looking forward to it. Raise some extra money for charity. If you're in the golf tournament, you get to come for free. If you're not in the golf tournament, again, $35 for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. That includes beverages and things. It's going to be a fun time. We're doing it outside in the beer garden, so we're keeping our fingers crossed for nice weather, but going to be a big crowd. And if you came last year, there were some pretty cool stories told by Leon and Spencer that in terms of recruiting stories and some things that, you just get them in a different, get a cold one in their hand, Jay. You get some different stories there sometimes. So it was a fun time. Looking forward to it. I know Jay's already hard at work with the questions for Dirk and Leon, but it's going to be a fun time, and then a fun time the next morning on the course.
I'm looking forward to it. That tournament's a great job. It grows every year, and I'm excited for it. Real quick, I just kind of, as we got a little time here, I was just kind of thinking about some of
Robbie
those.
Robinson says no workouts before the tournament, Jay.
Yeah. Oh, no, definitely not a day or two before. Yeah, we're not going to have it, have something change that late on the fly. So definitely not a day or two before, for sure. But no, just kind of thinking about it as, we talk about adding impact players out of the transfer portal, and man, I will say, man, the basketball team has really found some stars out of the portal, whether it be recently Alvaro Cardenas, Abu Kijab, who was, Mountain West tournament MVP and things like that when they went to the NCAA tournament a few years back. They have, I mean, I will say, like, the basketball team has added some big time stars out of the transfer portal at times. And yeah, that's not to say the Boise State football team hasn't done it, but I think that, you look at who they're adding this year and you wonder how, impactful they can be. And I would say it's been a couple years since, obviously Cannon Camper last year on offense, but if you look on defense, I think you have to go back to like 2002 with Caleb Biggers and George Tarlis. Now, both those guys were out of, one was out of a group of 5, one was out of the FCS ranks. But I think you really go back to kind of those two that that were like playing like all league type levels. It was a bummer George Tarlis got hurt. That guy was playing some phenomenal football.
Yep.
I think he would have had just a monster year had he been able to stay healthy.
Might have had than he got at the next level too.
What was that?
He got a small cup of coffee with the Raiders in a mini camp. He would have got much more of an opportunity probably if he had played that whole year.
I agree with you there, man. I think he was going to have a monster year, and so I think you really go back to those kind of couple of guys to find the last time on defense that they have really landed some really impactful guys. I think Jeremiah Irby could be that. I think down the stretch last year he started to play some really good ball, but Caleb Biggers, man, that guy was a very good cornerback and got left alone a lot and things like that. Loved his ability to come up and tackle, and Tarlis was just a force off the edge. He was a guy that, even if he didn't generate a ton of sacks, his QB pressures were always off the charts. So hopefully they can add some guys like that this year. I feel like they've had a little more success out of the portal on offense. I was thinking, BJ, and it's only because he's a social media sensation, but this guy kind of popped into my head. Cyrus Habibi Likio, right? He came over from Oregon. I don't know. I mean, it's not like he was I want to, say that he was a star necessarily production wise at Boise State, but he had his moments. And
at BYU, I think he had a big touchdown.
Yeah, I was just going to bring it up that BYU game, he scored a touchdown, and that was one of the biggest upsets at the time, on the road in school history for Boise State. So outside of that, like a John Hightower, but that was like a different transfer portal situation. I think he was a JC guy. So yeah, just a unique thing, and we'll see if they can hit. What was that?
Where was Cedric Wilson at?
I think he was Ced was a JC guy.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, unfortunately, if you're Boise State, Jay, like, if a guy's leaving a Power 5 or a school and has, or even a smaller school, but has big time production, like, he's probably getting paid. And so I hate to say it, and they Leon Rice calls them on the basketball side a developmental program. I know that's what they want to be on the football side too, but it really is going to take finding those diamond in the rough, seeing something in the lower level kids, and not necessarily non-Division I, but just the guys at some of the smaller FBS schools, whatever, because you're not getting a lot of the Sterling Lanes of the world. You're not getting, unless you're paying big money, you're not getting, when a guy goes in the portal from a Power 5 school and has that kind of production, 26 tackles, usually there's other Power 5 schools interested in getting him. So you're not like, I mean, I know you know this, and I think a lot of fans know this too, but when you're talking about the NIL budget that they have, and unfortunately in this day and age, that's what the first conversation is about with a lot of kids. You're probably having to find the or take the chances on the Chris Marshalls of the world. I mean, those kind of just, you're not getting a
Well,
lot of guys with proven
yeah.
numbers probably to transfer to Boise State in a lot of
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the reason why you kind of claim your developmental program is because you almost have to. And but that's something you can lean into and hope that you develop some really good relationships along the way that allows players to really want to stay at a school like Boise State. And I guess the example is, somebody described it to me this way one time. I think that the Power Five schools and the schools that have money are so focused on getting talent out of the portal that maybe numbers don't really matter like they once used to, but now all of a sudden in a 25 member recruiting class, there's 10 additional high school guys that get left out of those, the SEC schools or whatever, and everything kind of filters down. So all of a sudden Boise might have access to some high school recruits. I mean, if you notice, it seems like they're in more 4-star guys these days, right? That's where the trickle down effect just kind of all the way continues until you hit like an FCS school, and then like the Gardner kid who they're getting out of Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he blows up at the FCS level. FCS level. He's a guy that might have started his career at Boise State 6 years ago when things were as we once knew them. Now he gets to go ball out, and Boise State takes him out of the FCS ranks.
And in full transparency, he almost made our list. And Mickey from Notre Dame also was a guy that both we were looking at.
That's another guy that people forget about. I mean, even me, like that's another guy that we haven't really talked about or is forgotten about when you talk about putting talent and depth in that cornerback room. I mean, when you really start to break it down, there is some. I mean, we talked about last fall camp, BJ, that we thought highly of a Franklin Johnson Jr.
Yeah.
And now he's a guy that's going to be kind of waiting in the wings potentially for another year.
A couple of quick comments here on YouTube. Ben Welch saying that other side opposite JVM is a great place to be. Probably why Lane committed. Shouldn't be many double teams.
Yeah, you're gonna have opportunity, and that's something that Jaden Virgin Morgan's gonna have to deal with too, is he's gonna have a lot more attention on him this year.
And Ronan says the guy from U of I, Malachi Williams, very good too.
Excited to see it. How he is ready to go or transition up to this level, and if he can be that impact guy for sure.
Blake says, to Jay's point, I think there will be some guys Boise State can get because they were passed over. Maybe we get Brock Purdy back in the day.
I see what you're saying there. Maybe there's a chance of that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. That's probably a pretty good example. Like you those fringe guys that you maybe just missed out on in the past because all those schools with more money are. I mean, I think that we've kind of I think we've seen too that throwing money at high school quarterbacks, man, look at that Malachi Nelson recruiting class a few years ago. There's a number of those QBs that were highly sought after in that class coming out of high school, and a number of them got money, and I want to say a number of them have panned out either. So if you can already see it and then invest in it at the college level, I think that's the route to go. So yeah, maybe that could be an example where you get a guy and you get to develop him. And I think I said Gardner, it's Ganter, right? From Derek Ganter Jr. Yeah. So
do you know, Jay, what someone's asking about the ticket allotment for Notre Dame? Usually it's either 2,500 or 5,000, something like that. I don't know for this one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those tickets, they have got the travel packages, the tickets are available, and they're apparently not cheap.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the way that game is. It's a really unique game at a road environment against a team that, is always going to sell out their stadium. So it might just be hard
They're
to
top 10, probably.
Yeah.
What I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah. So it might be that's a ticket in demand. It is what it is, I think, unfortunately. So hopefully the resale market is is generous as we get closer to kickoff.
And we did have, maybe if you're looking, if that one, those tickets are too expensive, or maybe that's not schedule-wise works out for you, Jay. I mean, a nice secondary option. Ben says here, good morning from Tampa. Less than 115 days until our Broncos come to my town.
Wow.
If you're looking for a road game to go to, that is Memorial or Labor Day weekend as well. Like, wouldn't be a bad one to go to Tampa either.
Celebrate a long weekend, right?
Yeah.
You get in town a couple days early, stay through the weekend. That's like a 4-day weekend, just built in, ready to go for you.
And then Bronco 130 will finish us off here. He says, if you could only play 9 holes after work, would you prefer the front 9 or the back 9 at Timberstone? I'm going to go front 9. I'm not a big fan of the back. Some of those holes, maybe that's because I'm tired and the beers are kicking in at that point. I don't know, but I never seem to play as well in the back 9. I don't like some of those holes. I would say hole 8 over the water is my favorite hole on the course. I don't feel like there's quite as much trouble you can get yourself into on the front. But I would say I like every hole there. All 18 are great, but I would say the days they tell you, oh, you're starting on the back, I kind of like that because you get to finish up with the front 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. It's nothing against Timberstone. It's my golf game. Usually, I'm demoralized by the time I hit the back 9. So,
yeah,
I guess I'll go front 9 for that matter.
Let's see here. I think that's good for today. Jay, appreciate you, man, as always, for jumping on. We successfully killed 45 minutes on May 6th when not much is going on today.
Mm-hmm.
So appreciate you. Let me take a quick look and tease ahead. Let's go Friday. Looks like good discussion for you. Maybe a little backup quarterback debate on Friday.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Number 21 on the list, maybe the backup quarterback on Friday. We'll get there.
Okay. Did Johnny approve this list?
Yeah, Johnny actually made me switch like 6 of them around just so they could be the days that he goes. So somehow actually our actual numbers 1 through 5 are just every Thursday for the next 5 weeks. So Johnny can discuss.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, perfect. All right. Good for him.
Surf City Bill, who lives in Southern California, is actually coming up for that happy hour event. Says if you're looking for a road game, come to San Diego. Snapdragon will be empty. And yeah, as Candid Trader says here, like the video, share the video, tell all your friends. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Jay. We'll do this every day the next couple of weeks. Discuss some players, whatever topics come up Boise State related, and we're actually trying to get Leon Rice on in the next couple of days as well. Here to he's getting ready to leave for a vacation. Would like to wrap up basketball and kind of talk about some of the new additions that hopefully is happening in the next day or two as well. Jay, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hope everybody else enjoys their day as well. Looks like another nice day, at least today, weather-wise to this point. So thanks to Taco Bell. Go get some Taco Bell. Our title sponsor is Andy Rowe & Company, rowpaint.com. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com if you want to come to our happy hour, May 29th, raising money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go read Nathan Carroll's article. Subscribe at bronconationnews.com. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Bronco Nation News Live, YouTube, Facebook, X, and right here at bronconationnews.com. Have a good day, everybody.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.